Good evening and welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Sahuarita Unified School District Governing Board. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We will move on to the roll call. Ms. Palacios.
Governing Board President Denise Reese.
Present.
Governing Board Clerk John Sparks.
Present.
Governing Board Member Amy Petersmark.
Present.
Governing Board Member Raul Rodriguez. Present. Governing Board Member Anthony Bruno.
Present.
District Administration Superintendent Dr. Manuel Valenzuela.
Present.
Assistant Superintendent Darlene Robinson.
Present.
Assistant Superintendent Scott Downs.
Here.
Chief Financial Officer Lisa Huey.
Here.
Thank you very much. We will move on to the approval of the agenda. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. President Reese, members of the board, at this time, I'd recommend approval of the agenda as it was revised.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. President Reese, members of the board, in your packets, you have draft copies of the minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting of the board way back on July 9th, 2025. And after your review and consideration, I do recommend approval.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to the superintendent reports. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese, members of the board. One of my true honors and pleasures at every meeting to share some highlights regarding happenings around the Sahuarita Unified School District. Well, it's hard to believe, but the school year is off and running. I believe this is week 4, if I'm not mistaken. And already many indicators of success. I believe you have there the ribbon cutting from yesterday evening at the brand new wing of the Walden Grove High School. This is a project that was made possible through the collaboration of the Arizona School Facilities Oversight Board, the Pima County Joint Technical Education District, and of course, our local community through your investment, your local investments here through our local bond projects to elevate the caliber and the quality and the scope of our programs and the resources that we have available to serve our community. Just so you know, it's 30,000 square feet. It has a focus on supporting programs in career and technical education, as you can see, including programs in law, film and TV, health professions, sports, medicine, and our newest CTE program in aviation. In addition, it also has a locker facility and a brand new wrestling room, and a brand new band room with amazing acoustical features and amenities. So we're very proud of that, very grateful for that new resource here in the Sahuarita Unified School District. As you may have heard, the Arizona Educational Foundation sponsors the marquee program, the Arizona Teacher of the Year. And they get hundreds of applications from all over the state of Arizona. And they recently announced the top 15. 3 of them work in the Sahuarita Unified School District, including Tiffany Jassif, who's a special educator at Copperview, Becky Hill, who's an elementary school educator at Anza Trail, and Mr. Ben Garland, who's the director of bands at Sahuarita High School. So actually, as we speak, I think they're in the process of the interviews, and 2 of them, Becky and Tiffany, are 2 of the remaining 10 who are considered semifinalists, top 10 semifinalists for Arizona Teacher of the Year. I'm proud to say that I believe us and the Vail District have more than one. But even among Southern Arizona, there's 2 here. 2 in Vail, 1 from Marana, 1 from Flowing Wells, and I think there's 1 from like Patagonia or Elgin. So 7 out of the 10 finalists, semifinalists are from Southern Arizona. So we're very proud of our teachers, and these are wonderful ambassadors for the work we do. And other than that, I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow marks the resumption of the Copper Cup, the quest for the Copper Cup. The Sahuarita Mustangs and the Walden Grove Red Wolves will play at Walden Grove High School. I imagine it's going to be a very popular place to be tomorrow evening. It's part of the Arizona Coaches for Charity Kickoff Classic. So hopefully it'll be a festive, positive, energetic community event. Hope to see a lot of people out there. And with that, I'll conclude my report and turn it back to you, President Reese.
Thank you very much. We will move on to governing board reports. Dr. Sparks.
Thank you, Madam President. I think just it's exciting to walk around campuses across the district and see beautiful fields and beautiful lights and new buildings, and then also be on campus and just see things moving well and like a well-oiled machine. It's like we never left for the summer. We came back and they picked right up where they started or where they left off. And really, I'm grateful to the community for their support of building all of the new facilities and revamping both fields and the new building out at Walden Grove, the new building at Wrightson Ridge, the future new auditorium out at Walden Grove. I mean, just exciting to see that, that stated commitment to build those facilities coming true. So I know it's in full swing, and excited to be here, and thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Just want to welcome everybody back to the 2025-2026 school year. Looking forward to having a great school year and making some great memories.
Perfect. Thank you. Mr. Bruno.
Yeah, I just want to say I got to spend some time over at Anza Trails on the first day of school. It was pretty impressive. The kids were really into being at school. I actually got a few fist bumps from some of the young men that were there, and it was kind of a great day to be there. I know I ran into Denise there, and I'm just glad that it went off without a hitch. I also want to say I'm very excited about the new resource centers coming online. I've been involved in a couple of the meetings for here at SMS and also down at SOPRI. And so looking forward to seeing what they become as we progress forward.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Ms. Petersmark.
Thank you. So many exciting things. I had to kind of narrow it down a little bit so we wouldn't be here all night, but just want to chat a little bit like Dr. V said. The open houses were incredible for SHS and Walden. The performances by the students were fantastic. Everybody had so much fun, and it was so great to go around and look at the teachers' classrooms and just see all the excitement, buzzing, and lots of fist bumps, like you said, through the hallways, and it was so much fun. Ribbon cutting was incredible. Denise and I were chatting. We were touring the building. We knew it would be amazing, but it was beyond words. The new building over at Walden Grove, as Dr. V said, it's giving us more room. Again, I'm speechless. Jade's Head, the AP classes, dual enrollment we have, honors classes, just giving everybody the ability to enjoy. And the kids were so excited. There was a great film they shared about sports medicine, aviation. I mean, they just kept talking, and it was so fun. We had such a good time on the tour. So I want to thank everyone, like Dr. V said, the whole community, everyone that came together to make that building possible. And it's beyond words. And again, Mr. Fields for setting up all these wonderful programs and continuing to venture in. I mean, I can't believe we have aviation. It's like incredible. So thank you. And then, of course, we had so much fun at our monthly board. It was not a lunch, it was a breakfast. And we got to listen to all the wonderful teachers and the principal of Sahuarita Digital Pathways Academy, our K-12 online school here in the district. We just had so much fun hearing about their programs. And again, we were all chatting. We've heard nothing but positive feedback from the parents as well as the students. Some of the high school students I've talked to, they love doing the little hybrid option of being able to go to SDPA and then SHS or Walden. So super positive, and we promised and we will spread the spread the news that that's a great thing that we have here in the district. So all those very positive. Again, I could go on. We've done a lot of activities in the past few weeks, but we'll end there and turn it back over to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So for mine, I'll focus pretty much on opening day. I got to see almost all campuses in the district. Things seemed actually on the first day to really be operating well. It was super exciting to have kids back in classrooms and seeing the various and sundry starting activities. So, you know, it's really amazing when you get into this, especially as your students start to age and see what the different things that they're involved in. And so, you know, school for some parents starts kind of in early July with sports getting back up and band camps and things like that. So it's been a neat start to the school year. So thank you very much. We will move on tonight to recognition of staff, students, and community with our August Volunteer of the Month, Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese, members of the board. You know, the recognition and the celebration of the people that together create the amazing outcomes and student success has been an embedded part of these school board meetings for as long as I've been around. Last year, I think it was last year, we started a brand new program. I believe it was at the request of former board member Lowell. And we're really glad we did. And that's to honor the contributions of our tremendously dedicated and selflessly serving volunteers. And so this month, we're going to begin with the August Volunteer of the Year. I think this individual is from SDPA. And as you will hear, he's a pretty amazing, special person who's making a real difference in our community. Scott, you want to tell us about him?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Valenzuela. It is my pleasure to read this nomination and selection from Sahuarita Digital Pathways Academy for their Volunteer of the Year representing SDPA is Randy Van Nostrand. Randy, better known as Grandpa Gardner, author of What a Seed Needs to Know, shares with the primary students of Sahuarita Digital Pathway the love of reading, gardening, and writing. As a member of the Rotary Club of Sahuarita, he engages with not only SDPA, but each of our SUSD elementary schools, sharing his story. He visits us either in person or virtually. Students are able to get their very own copy of his book, read along, and engage in an authentic literary experience. Thank you for such personalized commitment to the children of our community. Again, SDPA, Randy Van Nostrand.
And don't look now, Randy, but there's more. Yeah.
Again, and how about one more round of applause for Randy Gardner, Sahuarita Digital Pathways Academy.
Thank you so much and congratulations. We will move on to call to the public. Dr. Sparks.
Thank you very much. This is the in-person opportunity for consideration and discussion of comments and concerns from the public. Those wishing to address the governing board may do so at this time or at the board's discretion at the time the item appears on the agenda. All speakers are requested to hold your time to 2 minutes or less. 20 minutes will be allowed for both online and in-person comments in accordance with Arizona open meeting law. Board members may not respond, comment, or ask questions of speakers regarding issues not on the agenda. Any comments not read during this agenda item will still be entered into the public record. And Madam President, we have 15 calls to the public, 1 for tennis and 14 for ESAs. And I make a motion that we extend the period of 20 minutes that was agendized to 30 to accommodate those individuals.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we will extend to allow to 30 minutes for tonight's call to the public. Dr. Sparks, who's our first speaker?
Our first speaker is Mr. Ray Wardlaw, who is here to speak to us about tennis courts. I think he is a passionate man about tennis courts.
Ray Wardlaw, I've been coach at Sahuarita High School approximately 20 plus years, and I would like to thank you for the completed project over at Walden Grove. Some of you have heard me talk about over a few years, especially Dr. Sparks, every time I saw him since the school opened. But more than that, that you listened to Coach Kimber Cerulli, and there are half fences between each court, and that those of you who worked with Trico for additional land to get that, and they're north and south, those things are all amazing. You had 2/3 of a full set before. So I'm still involved in tennis, even though I'm starting to get beyond the blonde hair stage. However, I have a tennis student who I saw, there was an email came to me related to tennis, and it said, well, we have to not allow these students to play because of ESA. And ESA or no ESA, a student athlete, my goal is that the students and the community will benefit. I've heard some additional things since then, and though I've got to leave town and the next day, I would be willing to work on something so that we could get something that's great for the students and great for our teams, because we do compete to win, and we also compete to win in the classroom. That's the first priority. So thank you for your time and for what you do in our community. And some of you have seen me for quite a while. One gray-haired guy in the middle, he's been here longer than I have, but that's when he was in Sopri. So thank you very much for your service, but we would like to get things perfect, not just okay. Thanks.
Next in the list, and please forgive me if I mess up your name, I really do apologize, but Valerie Solinsky from Amato.
My name's Valera. I'll be reading a letter from one of your former ESA athletes. My name's Julia Vigorito. I was homeschooled from preschool through high school and joined the ESA program in 2022. As an ESA student, I played girls soccer for Walden Grove during my junior and senior year seasons. We were state runners-up my junior year, and in my senior year in 24, I was blessed to be part of the team that defeated South Point and became the 4A girls state champions. In an excerpt from the Green Valley News describing the championship game, Coach Bosley remarked how valuable it was to have two of the best goalkeepers in the state. Never once was it noted that I was an ESA student or that I wasn't enrolled at Walden. I still had to try out for the team and prove my value at every practice and game. I had nothing but positive interactions with not only players and coaches, but also other students and faculty. My family hosted multiple team dinners, and my parents were supporters of team fundraisers and attended every game. My experience as a goalkeeper on the team led to being recruited on scholarship at Cochise College, where I used those skills gained toward being a successful student athlete, RA, and student leader on my college campus. Because of my participation in Walden Grove's girls soccer, I've chosen to spend time as a volunteer coach, giving back what I received from the teammates and coaches during my time playing. I recognize the importance of helping younger athletes develop their skills on the field, but also helping to give them the tools and lessons they can take into high school as well as their future academic, social, and professional careers. When I heard that SUSD would no longer allow us to participate, I was shocked at the news and extremely saddened. To think other ESA students wouldn't get the opportunity to participate in athletic programs like I did is a tremendous disservice from SUSD. I can truly say if I hadn't been part of the program, I wouldn't be the successful student athlete and community leader I am today. I strongly disagree with your decision and hope you'll change this going forward. Home-educated ESA students should have the equal right and fair opportunity to participate in sports as others. This is not right, and I hope SUSD will have a change of heart in this decision. Thank you for your consideration, Julia Vigorino.
Next, we have Marion Scott from Sahuarita, Arizona.
I was the last, I think, to sign up, so I thought I was going to be further down, but this is great. First, I want to thank you for giving more time and allowing hopefully everybody to get through. That was very generous of you. Good evening, school board. I'm Marianne Scott, and I come today to talk about ESA recipients and allowing them to pay to play for sports. And I was just looking at the newspaper today, and you guys got a lot of FaceTime. I don't know if everyone has seen the newspaper, but you have a new room that costs like a new building that costs like $12 million. That's exciting. And then another one was about you guys doing a program because I guess there's threats that are happening within the school district. And then the one like I just talked about that I wanted to come in and speak with you was regarding the one titled SUSD. I'm not going to be like Beyonce and like sing or anything, but we'll consider the fate of ESA kids involved in pay to play. And this just made me think about the power that one holds. And it made me think of a story of Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. And there was a girl named Katie Beckett. And when she was an infant, she contracted encephalitis and it led to partial paralysis. And it was the need for a ventilator to breathe. And her long-term hospital care became a huge financial burden for her family. And they burned through all of their monies, which left them to use the Medicaid insurance. And it came time for them to be at a point where they could go home. The parents understood the care that they needed, but Medicaid at that time in the 1980s would not let you go home. Their rules said you had to stay in a hospital setting to continue to utilize Medicaid. Well, this got such national news that Ronald Reagan heard about it, and he heard about it prior to the weekend, and he said, by Monday, I want that family home. So Ronald Reagan had the power to change a policy, and he did so with his pen and his statement. And so I come with you guys saying that this newspaper title is true. You guys do have the power to make decisions for all kids here in our community. I know that you are here for the school district, but you also get to make decisions regarding all kids. You have that power and that right. With decisions, Dalton McQuinty said, there's no wrong time to make the right decision. And you guys, I believe, did make a right decision this week where you revisited one of your policies and you changed it to allow kids who are educated with their state dollar allotment through ESA to be able to play for this year if they had played prior in sports. And so I am here just to ask for you guys to go back to this policy again and consider the possibility for kids who do get educated through their state tax dollars and ESA monies to be able to play, whether they were involved last year or not. And I hope that through the course of the year, that people that come back and talk to you guys, that we can really get down to the reasons why kids who have chosen to educate differently than in the school system, that we can understand the reasoning behind it. Is it only funding? Can we pay to play? Are there other reasons? And that we can find the sources with all the true information. We go and research, and I hear a dollar amount from this person and a dollar amount from that person. And I would love to just sit down and really understand all of those sources and not either side go to biased sources, but to find the truth. And I respectfully leave these remarks with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to just remind everybody, please keep your comments to 2 minutes. I really don't want to cut you off or stop you, but when we go a minute and a half past the time, and I appreciate your comments, I'm not mad at you, just please help us do that. It's up at the top, big red thing. It was there a second ago, and I'm not mad. I want to give everybody their time because I do understand that we all understand that you're passionate about this, and we do want to hear your comments. So thank you. And please, I'm not calling you. Sorry, I'm not mad at you. We're calling you out. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, it's up there at the top. And we turned off the buzzer because I think the buzzer's harsh, and we just like it turns red at 2 minutes. Thank you. The next one is Parker Scott. And I think
Good evening, board members. My name is Parker Scott. A few days ago, I was sitting on my couch and I found my gaze focusing in on our digital picture frame. Pictures would change every few seconds and I was reliving some of those memories with each picture that would come up. One of them that slid onto the screen was me, right about 1 year of age. I was sitting in a cardboard box with my head peeking up over the edge. The cardboard box was part of many others decorated to look like a train. My dad was sitting on the ground next to my cardboard box train car. We were at SPS at my older sister's family night event. Another picture that came up in the frame was me again, sitting in a wagon amongst more cardboard boxes. These boxes were not decorated, but plain old white boxes that held out of dress code t-shirts that the PTO was selling to earn money for the school. My mom was pulling back wagon loads of boxes from our van to the room where the shirts would sit. I had so much fun riding back and forth, so many good memories of coming to school before I even attended SPS myself. Miss Tingle is still one of my teacher heroes. Because of family dynamics, I left the school district after 4th grade and stand here this evening as a senior. I do use the Empowerment Scholarship to fund my education and continue to learn. Tonight, I just came to say thank you for withdrawing the policy that was briefly in place that disallowed any students who use ESA funds to be educated to continue to pay to play. Because this was revisited and I was grandfathered in, I just came from golf. It was a wonderful hot afternoon out on the green. But now I know that I will need to come back to school board meetings and continue this conversation of allowing students who live in this small community to pay to play in extracurriculars. Thank you for your time.
the next will be Corey Stevens from Sahuarita.
My name is Corey Stevens. I'm the chair of Turning Point Action Moms Coalition in Santa Cruz. My daughters also attended school here in the district. I'm here to respectfully request that the district allow homeschool students to utilize ESA funds to continue participating in district sports, not just this year, but moving forward. This board has already set a precedent by allowing homeschool students to participate in previous years, and again this year for returning athletes. That decision acknowledges something important. These students are a part of our community. They train with your teams, wear your jerseys, and represent Sahuarita with pride. Let's clarify a common misconception. ESA funds are a separate line item in the state budget. They do not take away money from the district. In fact, families using ESA funds are asking for a pay-to-play option. They're willing to contribute financially just as many district families do, through fees and active participation in booster clubs. These clubs already supplement many sports programs, so the idea that ESA students create a financial burden simply doesn't hold up when they're contributing equally and with tax dollars they pay. As for liability concerns, those can be responsibly addressed through signed participation waivers, just as they are for other extracurricular activities. This isn't about policy, it's about fairness, inclusion, and community. These students want to play, to grow, to compete, and they're willing to do the work and pay their share. Let's not close the door on them simply because they've chosen a different educational path. Let's honor the precedent we've set and open the field to every student who's ready to play. My daughter went to various schools. She went to BASIS, she went to charter schools, and she finally landed back home at Walden Grove. Let's give these children a chance.
Next is Dawn Mounts from Green Valley.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you today. I bring to you as a educator, a college instructor, and a teacher in your fine school district some time ago, though I unfortunately had to resign for some health reasons. But I stand here now cancer-free with a new knee and an appendix that's been taken out that didn't cause me to die as much as they thought it was going to. So I'm in good shape. And I wanted to talk to you about this. I'm reminded back in the 1970s, NCR Corporation in Dayton, Ohio, came up with the phrase stakeholders, that serving their shareholders just wasn't enough. You have to share with your stakeholders. Everybody in this area has a stake in the success and the quality that you bring to this area with the school. And I encourage you not to hold against people that choose a different educational avenue against them. They still have a stake in the success of the school. As a teacher and a former coach, I had students who were ESA athletes, and they brought some championships here, and they were very proud to do that. And I encourage you to, you've come up with the right solution for the temporary orchestration. Take the next few months to look at all possibilities and come up with the best long-term solution. As I've said to my friend Dr. Valenzuela many times, doing yes is hard to do sometimes, but it's always the best option. Doing no is easy. We can find a lot of reasons to do no. Try to figure out a way to do yes. And this is a case where that is something I would hope you would consider over the next year. And to tell you something that may be rather disparaging that you don't know, there are other school districts north, south, east, and west of it. Well, not west, there's nothing out west, but north, south, and east of you that are looking for you to make a disparaging decision because they're interested in our athletes. And I hope you understand the value of those athletes too. Thank you.
Next is Sean Quinn of Sahuarita.
Fortunately, I didn't come up here with a big plan, just ideas of why this occurred. I understand it's a money thing, stewards of your taxpayer investment. This is directly from your statement. We're allowing you to get back money. I don't really understand why that's a bad thing. You already received part of the money for just having a kid in there. We're offering to give you more. So we're being better stewards by allowing these kids to play. These kids are part of the community. They aren't students enrolled in, but they interact with all students in positive ways, especially if they're athletes. Just really ask you to reconsider this separation of ESA students from extracurricular activities. The ESA law specifically says it allows for ESA funds to be paid to the school for both academic and extracurricular activities. The intent of the law and lawmakers up in Phoenix was to allow ESA students, and I don't, the separation again between students. They are just as important members of community as students enrolled in the schools. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I hope you can try to make some sense, maybe put this on the agenda for the next school board meeting, because it is an important part to all the kids in this community. That's all about it.
Next is Noah Sundberg from Sahuarita.
I'm Noah. I've lived here since 2008. You are a board that represents the taxpayers and the voters of the region. Not Manny Valenzuela, he's never lived here. You represent those of us that live here. And I appreciate what you guys have done, both informing me about the finances and helping out with that. I appreciate your willingness to look at making ethical stops to say, is this the right thing to do, and pausing and allowing it to continue for this year. But I want the right solution for everybody. The ESA students, the online charter students, the people who could benefit your district, they could learn if they want to be in your district, the people that help benefit your teachers by increasing funding to your district, they increase your ability to have opportunities of excellence, and that get the opportunity to have that come back on them, whether it's extracurricular classes. We should push for the best value for everybody. Push for the best good. And yes, if you take ESA money, you've taken money, so it needs to come back at a fair rate. JTED has a very good model you could follow that dictates the rates. It's been well established already. So my claim is, and I encourage you to do it, vote next meeting we will open up our district because we're not afraid of people using us piecemeal. We want people to come to our district because we want to have people see the benefit of our district and to use it. And we want to share with the community what we have to offer when it's appropriate for them. I want you guys to do what's right for everybody. The students here, the taxpayers who are funding this, the voters, the students in other school systems, not ESA, the ESA students, and yes, the homeschool students too. We want to maximize good, not do things that may come off looking vindictive. We want to do what's best. That's what you were elected here. At least when I was a voter, I elected people that I wanted to do the best good for the community in our area. That's what I'd like you to consider. Thanks.
Next is Elijah Sundberg.
Good evening. My name is Eli Sundberg, and I'm a student who uses ESA. I was recently grandfathered into the drama program, and I'm very grateful for that. I can now participate this year, but many students still cannot. Several of your school's mottos are, quote, "I will reach for the excellence within me," end quote. For me, that means theater. I have a dream of performing at state and possibly even competing at nationals. And other ESA students have now been denied that chance, whether their goals are through sports or the arts. How does taking away opportunities help students reach for the excellence within themselves? Homeschooled students who do not use ESA are allowed because it is required by state law. Why not allow ESA students as well? We are still a valuable part of this community. Looking at it from a financial perspective, as many people here have said today, ESA wouldn't be taking away money from the school district. It would directly help fund it through activity fees and ticket costs. Also, in many causes, ESA did not take away this money. My family and many others left the school district before ESA was even offered, running charters like Prenda, GEA, and Liberty Youth Academy. ESA didn't take away that money. It was already lost. But most of all, allowing ESA students to participate would allow those students to give back to the schools, give back to their peers, and most importantly, give back to this community, which we are all a part of. I urge you to reconsider this policy. If your mottos are truly about reaching for the excellence within each student, ESA or not, why are we closing doors, not opening them? Thank you.
Next is Diane Jones.
Dr. Valenzuela, superintendents, and members of the board, I have 5 children who homeschool. We have been receiving empowerment scholarship funds since May 2020. The recent policy announcement from SUSD about ESA students not being able to participate in after-school activities was surprising. I understand the nuances and different opinions about ESA. However, if you all do not agree with ESA funding, I would invite you to make your voices heard at the Capitol. ESA families love our public school teachers. We love our community. We have many things in common with you. I was extremely grateful for the time we spent in SUSD, and I'm also extremely grateful for the time I can now spend homeschooling. In April 2020, when the schools had to close their doors due to COVID, we started looking at other options. I have a daughter with Down syndrome. SUSD was able to provide her with a one-on-one aid, speech therapy, OT, PT, special education small groups, and integration into a general classroom. The Empowerment Scholarship allowed her to continue to receive support that she needed during the pandemic. Right now, she has one-on-one instruction with a qualified tutor 4 days a week. She's reading, adding, subtracting, counting by 2s, 5s, 10s, spelling, and writing. She loves learning. With the context you have of our family, please, superintendents and school board, consider changing your policy to allow ESA families to pay to play or perform in your after-school activities. Thank you so much for grandfathering in ESA students who are interested in the after-school drama program before the announcement was made. Theater has blessed my family's life in ways I never expected. One of the reasons my oldest decided not to come back to SUSD after the pandemic was because of the lack of a drama program. Thank you for creating a drama program, finding an amazing teacher, and extending the opportunity to ESA students. I hope that you would continue to build bridges between the homeschool community and the public school community. We want strong schools too. We want stereotypes surrounding homeschool students and public school students to dissolve. The best way to do that is through getting to know one another. After-school activities create these opportunities. By choosing to build bridges between ESA families and public school families, our community can only become stronger. Thank you.
Matthew Jones.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Jones. I am a student who uses the Empowerment Scholarship, and I want to ask you to reconsider the new policy that prevents ESA students from joining SUSD sports and after-school activities. For my family, the ESA wasn't about leaving this district behind. It was about giving my sister Ellie, who has Down syndrome, a better chance to succeed. She was in SUSD for 2 years, but it just wasn't the right fit. The ESA gave us a choice, but now we're being punished for making it. Sports clubs and activities are about more than just winning or competing. They're about friendships, teamwork, and belonging. By shutting ESA students out, you're telling us that we don't deserve to be a part of the same community that we still live in. That doesn't feel fair, and it doesn't feel inclusive. When you talk about preparing students for the future, it should include all students, not just the ones who happen to be in an SUSD classroom during the school day. Activities are where students learn teamwork, leadership, and confidence. Those opportunities should not be taken away simply because a family has made a different educational choice. We are still your students. We are still your neighbors. We just want to play, learn, and grow with everyone else. Please don't take that away from us. Thank you.
Jill, is it Dever? Dever?
Evening, Dr. Valenzuela, President Reyes, and members of the board. My name is Jill Deaver, and I'm a homeschooling parent of 4 kids ages 10 through 17. First, I want to thank you for making an exception and allowing my son and other ESA students to be grandfathered into the new drama club this year. It means more to him than you know. He was really excited to participate in this new program and had rearranged his schedule and given up other opportunities this year in order to join. And he was devastated when he was initially told he was no longer eligible. I also hope that you will consider allowing all students the chance to participate in the drama club and other extracurriculars this year and in the future, whether they are public school students or ESA students who pay to participate. My children have all been involved in drama and the performing arts, and the positive impact it's made has been invaluable. It has led them down new paths and expanded their interests in ways I never thought possible. And I just have to say that in general, theater kids are happy, respectful kids with passion and purpose who I know will make positive contributions to our community, which is why I hope you will see the value in supporting Miss Becca, the new drama teacher, and allowing her to successfully grow this program by including all students. We have great respect for her, admire her many talents and abilities, and know she will be a great asset to the students in our school district. Last, I just want to say that I am for school choice, and I don't think homeschool students should ever be prohibited or punished for that. I was a middle school English teacher for 6 years, have subbed every grade level, and have taught homeschool for 7 years now. My experience has undeniably showed me that public education is not a one-size-fits-all, no matter how hard we try to make it fit. Instead of dividing us because of how we educate, I wish the school administration and leadership would consider embracing this change and disruption to the status quo. School choice is here to stay, so why not plan and budget accordingly instead of being frustrated with parents who just want the best for their children? We are both in the same business of educating children, and I hope that we can work together, include each other, and find common ground. Thank you.
Weston DeVere?
Good evening. My name is Weston Deaver. I'm 17 years old and I'm an ESA homeschooler. I want to thank the school board of directors for grandfathering me into the drama program this year and allowing me to pursue this opportunity. Musical theater means the world to me and has truly changed my life. In theater, I have made relationships that feel like family and have also learned the value of working hard, being a team, and supporting each other. Theater creates a tight-knit community where people feel included, safe, and can just have fun. And I know Ms. Pryor's drama program will do this for the students who join. I also know the club is new and hope you will support it by allowing it to grow. There are so many benefits that come with this program, and I believe all students, public school and ESA alike, should be allowed to participate. Thank you.
Nahum Johnson?
Hello, my name is Nahum Johnson. I'm in 10th grade, and I am an ESA student. I have an ESA homeschooled. Last year, I attempted to get into the Sahuarita High School tennis team, but unfortunately, I did not make the cut. So, ever since then, I've been trying my hardest to work hard in tennis and to get better. Fortunately, all of my hard work that I put into it is now going to be used. Could please reverse your decision and let me and all the other ESA homeschoolers be able to pay to play sports. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Emily Johnson.
Sorry, I'm kind of short. Hi, my name is Emily Johnson. I am one of the many ESA homeschoolers. First of all, I would like to just say thank you for reversing your decision for this homeschool community for this year. But I would love to be able to swim next year, and swim just means a lot to me. Swimming for the SHS Mustangs has been a great experience, and I really just don't want to lose that. I'd be losing my team, and my team would be losing me. And just having that experience of going to a meet on a bus with all of my friends is just something that, homeschoolers don't really get that chance unless we participate in SUSD sports. So, and my dad is in the Air Force. We were recently stationed to San Antonio. However, my dad has decided to retire because of the connections we've made here with friends from sports and church, and also because of ESA. I also do not want to give up homeschooling just to participate in SUSD sports, because my sister and I were adopted back in 2017, and we were able to get that connection with my parents by doing homeschooling. If we weren't able to do homeschool, we wouldn't have gotten that connection, and it's something that I greatly appreciate. So I really ask that you don't take that away from us, and you just consider that we would like to participate in these sports too, and make those friendships and memories that we normally wouldn't be able to get. Thank you.
Is Mrs. Comstock here? Okay, then I will read the one from online, as we do typically. So it says parent of ESA student as first name, last name is Comstock. Letter to the Sahuarita Unified School District Board. Dear members of the Sahuarita Unified School District Board and Superintendent, we are writing as parents of the Sahuarita students to express our deep concern with the board's recent decision to remove Empowerment Scholarship Account, ESA, homeschool students from extracurricular activities after they had already been accepted and were participating in practices and rehearsals. Our children, many of whom have been part of the Sahuarita teams, bands, and programs for years, deserve consistency and fairness. While we appreciate the superintendent's temporary decision to allow them to continue this year, this matter must be addressed permanently to prevent future disruption and harm. We respectfully urge the board to adopt a pay-to-play system. Families could contribute directly to activity costs and ensuring programs are funded without impacting district budgets. These fees should be reasonable and not designed to punish or exclude ESA homeschoolers for their school choice. Implement an affidavit model similar to Marana School District. Sahuarita could allow homeschooler families to certify that their children are educated at home, not in a private institution. This would satisfy district requirements while preserving student access. Codify equal access. A permanent district policy affirming the ESA homeschool students may participate in extracurriculars would end the uncertainty and prevent harm to children in the future years. In support of our cause, please see the attached fact sheet calling attention to actual details surrounding the Arizona ESA program and not the lies that have found their way into the media. This program helps many students across the state and is a tremendous resource to many homeschooling families in their decisions to school at home. Did I make my 2 minutes? Okay. Thank you very much. That is the last one, Madam President. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to new business instruction, the Early Childhood Center's Special Education 2025-26 calendar and revised 25-26 calendar. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, President Reese, members of the board. This is an item that specifically pertains to our early childhood program. As you know, the Early Childhood Center is currently under an expansion that's expected to be completed by around the Christmas holiday time. And as part of this program, we formulate a calendar. Well, we operate year-round, but we have a calendar regarding our obligations specifically to students with special needs. And we have obligations under Child Find for students with developmental delays, and we honor those. This matter here this evening is a request for modification, and it's really, it's not a substantive thing like the other calendar that we build for multiple years. It's more an operational calendar, and it's more of a regulatory calendar. And what this does is in our continuous improvement efforts to move toward the most ideal calendar in regards to the standards of the state. We've made progress, and that's hence the amended calendar. We're moving from, I believe it's 129 to 138 days in regards to the special needs preschool program. And so instead of table at this time, I would ask the board to approve this modified ECC calendar so that we can document and report it as necessary.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion? Moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Can you clarify what was modified?
The number of days that are obligated to the district in terms of providing special needs students with contact time. So it's about contact days and contact minutes is all. It's just making the calendar reflect what we're actually moving toward.
I'll say we've been doing that. I just want to make sure that this isn't an adjustment to what we've been doing. This is just codifying and making a calendar to match what we're actually doing already, is my understanding. Okay, thank you.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Dr.
Because that's, I'm glad you asked, because that's what I thought. I'm like, I thought we were already doing this.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is the, switching between two agendas. New business, central cafeteria electrical. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am, President Reese, members of the board. I believe at the last meeting, you may recall my mentioning, and I think us giving some well-deserved verbal accolades to Florence Lopez for her really amazing effort to procure and secure emergency funding for a needed modification, renovation, specifically the components of the electrical system at the main cafeteria. I will tell you in full transparency that based on the urgency and the awarding of the funds, the item has been, I believe, done. Or it's in process, right, Lizette? Approval to do it, yeah.
But we had to move fast in order to get the funding.
That's my point. So my point is, your president, President Reese, myself, and Lisette signed off and have initiated getting it done because it was an important, urgent matter that needed to be taken care of. This is the terms and conditions which officially have to be approved by the board so that they can be submitted back to the State Facilities Board. But we approved it pending board action. So at this point, I'd like to implement the pending board action and ask for your approval of the terms and conditions for this BRG project, which is Building Renewal Grant.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I don't think we're ever going to say no to money from the state facilities board.
No, sir.
I don't think we're ever going to say no to fixing something that
That
could
needs to be
colossally
fixed.
blow up in our faces if we don't. So, yeah. So, perfect. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to the next item, the School Facilities Oversight Board Fiscal Year 26 Capital Plan. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. President Reese, members of the board, as is required by Arizona Administrative Regulation and the School Facilities Board, we as participants in that program are required to give the board an annual update regarding capacities and in regards to needs for future school facilities. And so as is customary, I've asked Assistant Superintendent Downs to provide us with an update of the process, kind of our analysis protocol, and kind of a current state of affairs, if you will. So Scott?
Thank you, Dr. Valenzuela. Again, a report that I have to do every year. You've seen this report. I call it the accordion report because as enrollment or ADM in our district changes, it shows, how we qualify for the next school building or new space. The first slide that you will see is basically how I come up with the growth patterns in the district. Basically, I look at the percentage growth, and we split it into two parts because SFB looks at it as 9-12, and they also look at it as pre-kindergarten through 8th grade. So basically what I do is I look at the last 5 years growth, and I average those numbers and find out our average growth in those two categories of pre-kindergarten through 8th grade and 9th through 12th grade. I took out, and I have been for the last several years, fiscal years 21 and 22, because that was COVID, and it was very much an anomaly at the time that we had decreased in enrollment, which was expected, and parents kept their kids home. So the green number, the red numbers basically just show the fiscal years 21 and 22 that we took out, and the green numbers are the last 5 years that I took the average on. In the high school level, I'm showing that the last 5 years is a growth of approximately 1.3%, and in pre-kindergarten through 8th grade, it has actually decreased 0.5% over the 5 years, and I call that zero in my report. Just as a note, preschool and kindergarten are counted as 0.5, so when you look at the numbers, it's like, well, what happened to all of our students at some of the grade levels? But as per SFB requires, we count preschool and kindergarten as 0.5s. So taking those numbers on the next slide, it'll show basically the 5-year retention. What I just said for K-8 is the 0%, and the 9th through 12th grade is 1.3. What does that new building do for us that you just walked in yesterday? When you take matters into your own hands and you build your own, excuse me, they paid for that one. It's different for the other ones, but that new wing adds a capacity of 321 to our 912 population. So SFB now says that we have a capacity of 2,790 at the 912 level. The next slide is basically taking that percentage and looking at the trajectory of where we might be in the future. So again, the top bar represents a 0% growth because that's the 5-year retention. So you can see at 3,500 is where it is, and I project 0% growth. And again, next year it'll change. It can increase, decrease. And the red square basically shows where our the last report where our next approval was. It was off the chart. And as you can see with the capacity that they say that we have in the pre-kindergarten through 8th grade is 5,418. So we have plenty of capacity. And we do have a lot of capacity. We have classrooms at SPS, we have some at SIS. And so we do have that excess capacity. At the high school level, you can see that we were to have space ready in FY27, which is already ready. And the last year's capacity was 2469, as you saw on the previous slide. And so the new capacity is 2790. And again, with all this additional space that we just built, we don't qualify for another school or more square footage for the 912, at least off of this chart past FY35. And again, when the housing market picks up, the numbers change, the averages change, and this accordion comes back and we can qualify again sooner. With the current bond projects, on the next slide, I'd just like to put this in, is this is the space. Now, the Walden Grove project was SFOB funded, but if we build space ourselves through local bond money, unfortunately, it counts against us because we're building additional capacity. So, but at the time, sometimes we move quicker than SFOB, although we appreciate their money. These are the square footages, just so you know, of the additional space that is to be built. The Wrights and Ridge 7 classrooms that we built was about 8,800. That was not in the formula yet, but will be, which means it'll just push out our approval later. The ECC classroom is about 1,800 square feet. The SESD Fine Arts building is about 10,000. The ROTC expansion is about 1,700. We're adding some offices and stuff to the Accelerated Learning Center and science multipurpose room additions at Sahuarita High School at 19. The good news, at least in my last slide, the open enrollments from last year to this year, we've gone up 15 students. These are true open enrollment, not like movement between our schools, but from other districts. So you can see the pluses and minuses there, but the overall is actually up this year. We have 15 more open enrollment students this year than last year. And with that, I can answer any questions that you have. It's not surprising that we won't get any funding for building soon because they just gave us $12 million. But again, that can change. And it is required for you to approve the numbers so I can submit on September 1st.
And with that, I would recommend, as Scott alluded to, this does require approval. I would recommend your approval of the capital plan summary as presented so that it can be submitted to the state.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Just, Scott, thank you so much for doing this crazy report each year. It's always interesting of where they need us to sort of play Houdini a little bit.
And they do a lot more demographics than I do in studies and stuff. And so really at the end of the day, they tell us what's happening anyway. A lot of times we align, sometimes we don't, but it is a report that we're required to do.
Yeah.
I do have just a comment. I'm glad to see we have capacity.
Yeah.
I remember a time many moons ago where we were struggling to keep up with the growth in the town of Sahuarita. And we were talking about hanging kids from chairs on the wall. And so I'm glad to see we're in a place where we don't have to consider doing that sort of emergency construction. So thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are moving on to new business governing board, the 2025 revised governing board meeting schedule. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. President Reese, members of the board and public. This is a request for a slight modification, and we came to it in my consultation with our CFO, Ms. Huey. As we know, these are interesting and rapidly changing times. As we also recall, the last legislative session, I think, ran rather long. And my point is, we have a statutory obligation to complete the annual financial report by October 15th. And given the variables and the value of time and how a lot of accounting from past year to current year is going to be in motion and time is our best friend, the request is simply to make a slight shift in the October meeting. So the request is to move the first meeting to October the 15th. And what did Dr. Sparks say? What did he say?
Cutting it close.
Cutting it close.
Cutting it close, yes. Not much room for error. And that's kind of by design and by desire, to give us a chance to kind of button up all the loose ends. And then that would also move the second meeting to October 29. I would make just a note of observation that for some reason, our previous schedule, if it included a meeting on the 22nd, I don't know if it did, but that's the date of the county meeting for Arizona School Board Association. So this does seem to be conducive. The only other note I would have is that the October 29th meeting would be the meeting that we have down at Sopri Elementary School. So I would, with those notations, I would recommend approval of the revised board schedule as presented.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Madam President, may I just add that
Yes.
this is in line with next year's calendar as well?
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that so next year's calendar does reflect these dates as well.
Okay, perfect.
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
I guess
Yeah.
if it's better this year, it's probably better for the long haul.
Yes, it is.
Well, and the reality is the closer that we can get that early October date to the deadline, the better off we all are, instead of either having to create a situation where we're doing something 2 weeks early or having to do a special meeting in between, which we've done, and we don't mind doing them, but whatever we can make work best for everybody.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. It's very common for the state to change the files after it's already been approved. And so after October 15th, they can't change that anymore. So I'm just so grateful because they do change them even if I do it early, sometimes there's always corrections and then we have to update it, and I
So
would
to,
not
so to
like.
Dr. Sparks' comment about the 11th hour, it's actually by design.
Oh, it is by design. It is. So he's
Very
right.
well.
He's spot on. I just wanted to add those comments because I think it's important to know.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next, we're moving on to new business item B, the Policy Advisory Volume 37, number 6. Dr. Valenzuela.
Policy advisor. Yes, let me go there myself. There it is. This first one is, and you'll notice that this policy advisory is chunked in two. And the reason for that, once again, reference back to our study session today, is because we have chosen to customize the policy to meet our needs. This is the policy that goes back to the state legislative session that I was just referencing that did run rather long. And this was a law, I think it was House Bill 2484. It had to do with a requirement that school districts enact some kind of policies that address the issue of cell phone use and screen times in school. And I just want to say thank you to our board, without exception, for your willingness to come to community conversations, to indulge me in individual conversations, to have guests come in and present to us. And I think we learned a lot. Several of us read the book by Jonathan Haidt about the anxious generation. And so we know that these devices have both good and bad. And inherently they're just devices, but that they, in overuse, they could have detrimental effects. We talked about how those are developmental, that kind of with time comes the ability to manage them better. And so maybe there's some criteria there. And kind of to balance the fact that in the midst of whatever risk factors, there's also the fact that devices are real. They have valuable assets. They have purpose in educating students in the year 2025 and beyond. And we kind of need to balance all these forces. So with that, I would just highlight for the reinforcement of the board and for the public that what we're doing, and again, we've had consultations with our administrators, and pending this outcome, I believe it's what's been initiated and is happening in all of our schools. For the K-8s, again, to that developmental differential, basically before and after school, you can have your phone out. We did note at the request of Mr. Fiesler, our bus director, that if students are misusing their phones in a disruptive way, then it's not because they have a phone, but because they're being disruptive, that they can still be disciplined, even though the bus ride is technically after school. The storage is that they got to be silent or turned off, and that they're not visible unless their instructor asks otherwise, and during instructional time, again, only when permitted at the request of the educator. We did mention that no social media access during that time. So for the K-8 students, it's basically, other than before and after school, it's out of sight, it's got to be off your person unless the teacher asks you otherwise. For 9-12, it's the same basic standards with the noted exception that because they're at a higher level of development, they're older, more mature, and part of helping them to adapt to that level of maturity and the growth and development. We said that during lunch in the cafeteria or as designated by the leadership there, they can have them out at lunch. And the other time is for high school only, this is during the passing periods, they can have them out. So that's a summary basically of what we are incorporating. And because this one is a standard advisory from ASBA, even with our own customized additions, I would recommend tabling this particular item at this time.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then we'll move on to item C, the policy advisory for 907 is the next one. Or are we going to take 907 and 908 together?
Yes.
Okay.
The other advisories were kind of chunking together, and they originally were clumped as one comprehensive whole from ASBA. We just pulled out the first one because it's more customized to our needs. The other two, just for the information of the board and public, they are just modifications based on determinations of the Arizona legislature in the last session. The first one has to do with the obligatory duties of mandatory reporters, which we all are, that when a mandatory report must be done, it must be done through the 911 system to a law enforcement officer. In fact, we have certified Arizona Post law enforcement officers in our schools through our school resource officers, but just for the purposes of mandatory reports, a call has to be made through 911 to the police department. So if we tell, for example, Officer Big Al Guest, he then would turn around and call it in himself. But that's the fundamental shift with this policy. And I frankly wonder about it because Officer Big Al is an Arizona Post certified officer if he received that report. But that's the way the law is, and we're of course going to be fully compliant. And we've communicated it, and it's already in place. The other one is similar. It came out of the legislative session, and it basically clarified that we're all familiar with FERPA. We give annual FERPA disclosures, and part of FERPA is within the allowability of the law, we get to say what we call directory information. So if you go to the game tomorrow, you might get a program, and they might have the heights and weights of the players. You have pictures in the yearbook. You have personally identifiable photographs that they might take, such as at the opening of last night's new facility, directory information. The only thing that this does is by virtue of the law, it says that you can no longer choose to include a student, only a student's email address, a student's physical address, or the student's phone number. You can't call that directory information per the state law. So again, these are policy advisories from the Arizona School Board Association, and I recommend tabling at this time.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item, we'll move on to item 11, the consent agenda. Dr. Valenzuela.
Yes, ma'am. And as the board recalls, we canceled the previously otherwise scheduled meeting on August the 13th. And so you have an even more robust and lengthy item consent agenda list than usual. In fact, Betsy was barely able to post the paper copies in our little glass case over there, but she made it work. She's asking for a bigger case, but hopefully we can take care of that. So you have the consent agenda. Again, these are general, routine, operational matters that may be taken in one motion, and I do recommend approval of the consent agenda in its entirety at this time.
We have a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will then look at the possible future agenda considerations. Does any board member have any item that would like to come before this meeting or before this board at a future date? Okay. We'll establish our next board meeting on September 10th here in the district auditorium. Details regarding the meeting can be found on the website. There is no executive session this evening, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. And there is a small book to sign. I'm just saying.
Yeah.